Hello, everybody.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
I am Janae Strother.
I'm Sean Spencer.
Back.
We are back.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen.
I gotta go out and hold up.
Come on. The lion. The lion. New music so fine. Kirk Cousins.
All right. I am Janae Strother.
I am Sean Spencer.
And this is Let's Talk Football.
We're back. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? You know who it is, and you know who I'm here with. It's the Roundtable, and you see this guy, Nick. I want the smoke, Rosario. What up, Nick?
Good evening, boys and girls. How are we doing?
Doing well. Oh, yeah.
Very good.
And the host of Diversity with Delilah Crespo.
Hey.
Yeah. What is going on?
Yes.
How are you guys today?
Oh, just peachy, my friend. Just peachy.
Peachy.
It's a Thursday in Chi-Town, and we're looking at 60s this weekend, Delilah. It's going to be nice.
Oh, after we were getting a taste of that, like
that cold.
Yeah.
We're supposed to get 60s this weekend.
The winter to come.
That's right. We're getting it a little bit, but now they're saying 60s for the weekend, so that should be
all
nice.
right. I'll take it, especially
right,
in Chicago.
Why not take it a little bit? Yeah.
So I assume Halloween was cold then.
No,
it wasn't too bad.
Yeah,
this past week though, we were, we had 40s.
Monday,
it was rainy.
Yeah, Monday started the cold front.
That makes sense. Gotcha.
So it was just, just one of those, one of that week. But I'll take a break.
Yeah, a little small breather before Thanksgiving is all good.
Yeah, before it gets really chilly.
Yeah,
out there, really chilly. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and we are here to talk football. Ladies and gentlemen, glad you're here joining with us. And let's go ahead and get on into it with our picks for Week 8's game of the week, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll go ahead and start off. And I had a team that's actually playing right now.
They just scored.
Indianapolis Colts. They just scored. There we go. Sweet. Good job, Colts.
Naeem Hines on a run from scrimmage.
Of course, right after I dropped on my fantasy.
Exactly. I did
That's how it happens. Always how it happens.
Yep.
So, hey, shout out to the Colts, definitely. And I'm spotlighting the game they played against the Texans. Or against the Titans. They ended up losing that game 34-31 in overtime. But the reason I'm highlighting it is because this team started off very poorly, and they have actually been kind of putting together. The record does not show it being 3-5, but I mean the 5 teams they lost to were Tennessee twice. In both games, those were within 7 points. They lost to a high-powered Rams team. We know how good that team is. They only lost them by 3, and they lost to Baltimore in OT. And Seattle, but Seattle had Russ at the time. So, hey, they're doing good. This game was a good one. Jonathan Taylor, like you said, another touchdown this game. He had 70 yards on the ground. Michael Pittman, who Delilah will be talking about a little bit later, had 10 receptions, 86 yards, and a couple touchdowns. They hung tight with the Titans, and I know they lost the game, but after we all also know what happened with Derrick Henry and him now being injured and out for the season, I think this could be a huge, because they are right now in lockstep in second place, and the Jaguars and the Texans aren't gonna be any competition this year. So if the Colts can figure out a way to get some of these W's, and then the Titans now having to rely on Tannehill, who we all talked about, we don't really believe in as much. I seriously think that the Colts are going to make a run and potentially make it to the playoffs. So I think this game was kind of a barometer for me because it showed how tough they are. They played against one of the top teams. Yes, Henry was out, but the rest of the team, they're still powerful. They still have a good team. So I'm really looking for the Colts to do something. They got the game against the Jets tonight, so I'm really excited about that because I think, honestly, with this first score, that definitely helps to confirm it that, the Colts can keep this run going. And, I'm looking forward to seeing some big things from the Colts. Definitely are. But I'm going to go ahead and move on to another game. It was actually a shocker. Nick, I'm coming to you. Cincinnati loses to the New York Jets.
This is the New York Jets.
Yeah.
Here's the crazy part about this game, I think, because if you look at, the Jets are now 2-5, right? Now, who are the two teams that the Jets have beaten? Do we know? Yes, of course we know. They beat the
Cincinnati.
Bengals this past week. And the reason why that's important is because the Bengals are a division leader. And their other win was against the Titans, who were also a division leader. And why is that important? I'll tell you why it's important. Because it shows me that the Jets actually have the capacity to put together a game plan and on any given Sunday win. And that's what they did this past week. And I know a lot of you are going to, about the hype surrounding this game because Zach Wilson was not playing. And even me, I bought into it. As you'll find out later in Nick's picks, I got crushed on this game because I thought the Jets were going to get their butt handed to them. The actual opposite happened. A guy named Mike White. Now, again, for the folks in the back, who is Mike White, you ask? Well, I'm going to tell you. Mike White is a guy who said, here, give me the ball, coach. I want to play. And took that ball and went a whole 37 out of 45 for 405 yards, 3 touchdowns. And just to add a little cherry on the top of the Sunday, he caught a 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
So on a trick play on a 2-point conversion. So this kid had a hell of a week. And, again, it just goes in. I guess I'm going to be repeating myself. So maybe I'll just kind of get this out of the way now, Sean, if you don't mind. He was also my player of the week.
Nice.
For the stats I just mentioned. Because this guy was on fire. He was everywhere. But he did it a lot with intermediate passing. None of his passes were more than 20 yards. He literally was a lot of dump offs, a lot of check downs. But he was effective, and he managed to, and he even overcame 2 early interceptions in this game to still throw for 437 to 45. So that shows you that when this kid really got going, he got going, and that's what he did. Is he ran the offense in between the runs? He had short intermediate passes. He really played a great game and well deserved win. But the game itself, with the back and forth, the Bengals just looked flat from the start. Even on play drives when they scored, you had some penalties, you had some things that they just looked lackluster in the whole thing. And I don't know if they were out coached, which you could kind of say that they were, because obviously the schemes were in place where you couldn't stop this rookie. Again, even with with the dump downs and everything like that, they had no answer for Mike White. Let's just be honest. And in the end, what happened? Boom, 34-31, the victory. Goes to the Jets. Jets, Jets.
That's right.
There you go. The 34-31 victory. And again, the Jets are currently playing on Thursday night. As we know, they got the Colts in this game. But at 2-5, considering where everybody figured the Jets would be and where they kind of are still in their division, you can only go up. And that's what everybody's excited about in New York now. You saw some stuff. You've beaten 2 division winners. You never know. Stranger things have happened, right? Season's only at week 9. Who knows? But again, there's your game, my game of the week. Jets and Cincinnati.
Nice. Yeah. And that was definitely one of the most shocking games in the game I was following all day. But Delilah, this game also kind of shocked us. But if you know this rivalry, it didn't shock us that much. The Saints upset the Bucs minus Jameis Winston. Go ahead, Delilah.
Yeah, so with this one, obviously, they were expecting, the GOAT to go in. I mean, he did get 4 touchdowns, right?
He's still Tom Brady.
Right. He got 2 interceptions, but he did overstep that by getting the 4 touchdowns and over 300-something yards, which is typical. But they still didn't come back with a W even with that. If you look at it, it's because all his guys were actually pretty quiet. So I could understand why he's been saying to some people, I don't think I'm going to pass to y'all no more. And let me tell you, he's done that before. When he says he's not going to pass you, even though it sounds jokingly, he ain't joking. Because he wants you to make sure you're out there doing what you got to do.
Exactly.
But also, now, receiving wise, they didn't, they actually didn't do too bad, but it wasn't stellar either. I think what killed them, if you look at it, was actually their rushing game. Their rushing game was abominable. So in this game, they had a total of 71 rushing yards. That's it. Versus New Orleans, 152 rushing. Right.
Oh.
And so, yeah, exactly. So what killed them in this game really wasn't even the receiving, because Godwin got his touchdown, right? We saw that. He got 140, yards that game. He got a touchdown. I mean, he threw a touchdown to a lot of separate receivers that game.
Yeah.
Even went to Mike Evans, right? So, but and when you look at New Orleans, they only, their quarterback went in there who replaced Jameis. He did his job, and they had 2 receiving touchdowns. So what killed them was really their rushing game, right? If you're looking at the numbers. So the fact that they couldn't get the rush going against the Saints, that means that the Saints defense, did its job.
Yeah.
They were able to stop, because I feel like their game plan, the defensive coordinator obviously knew. He's like, Tom Brady's in the past, he's going to do whatever. But they still got interceptions on him, right? And the one that counted was the one that lost them the game, right? That second one, that was it. It was done. Everybody's like, oh, that's it. Saints won, right? So the defense for the Saints, kudos to you guys, because honestly, that Saints defense went and did what they had to do, right? They caught 2 interceptions, and they 100% shut down the Buccaneers rushing game, right? When you look at the numbers again, that was, 71 to 152. And so
double them up.
So that means with this game, Fournette, think about Fournette only got 26 yards that whole game, right? Like, that is huge.
Can I ask you something, Delilah, if you don't mind, real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Do you like that combination? I always wondered about that Fournette and kind of Jones thing that they're doing there.
I don't know. It's not right now. It's not looking good for them.
Right? No, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, what do you think? Do you think it's going to work for them going forward?
I don't think so. Not based on the fact that the Saints found a way to shut them down, right? So that means that they got to come up with a different game plan.
It's just weird to me that you got two pretty. Yeah. I mean, these guys were premier backs
they
just
were.
a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Exactly.
And you got a dual-headed monster, and you guys can't get a running game going. That's pretty good.
At all.
That's what I'm trying to say. Well, I think it comes down to what we've been talking about, all the teams that have come up as elite, and it's people have found a way to beat them, right? I think we've talked about that before with the Chiefs, of course, going downhill, and Buffalo getting challenged. I think it comes down to what you said before, Nick, right? When other teams look at what your whole game plan is and they find a way to beat you, then other teams are like, wait a minute, I see how to shut them down, right? Yeah. So now the offense has to go in there and go, well, we can't continue to do this rushing offense anymore because it's not working. They figured out how to shut us down. Now I don't know what they get a bye week to work on it. So it's not like they're not playing this week, right? They're coming back on week 10.
Mm-hmm. And then they get a double bye week because they play us next.
Exactly. So, I'm sorry. I don't know why I said that, but that was.
I didn't say it. I wouldn't have said it if it wasn't true.
Sorry, but
yeah. So basically, there's got to be obviously adjustments in that if they actually want to remain at the top of their division. But right now, the fact that honestly, like, kudos to that Saints defense. Honestly, they were the ones that won that game. They were the ones that beat Tom Brady. Okay. Winston was, got left early in the game. We already know. And then Simeon came in and got a touchdown, and Jameis got a touchdown that game before he got injured.
Simeon, my God.
So, the New Orleans offense was okay. It wasn't like it was like, but they got the job done, and their defense finished it off. The coup d'etat was that final reception. We all saw it. We're like, well, that's the game, And so, but yeah, I agree with you, Nick. That Fournette thing they got going on is not working. Like I said, Giovanni Bernard only got 30 yards. Again, Fournette only got 26 yards that whole game, and Jones only got 13 yards.
Yeah.
And that's their total yardage.
That's the full game, right?
Yeah, exactly. So then that's what I'm saying. But Ash, I mean, I agree with you because he's usually been on it, but the fact that the Saints figured out how to shut them down, that means teams going forward know how to do that now, right? Because they're going to watch that tape and be like, oh, we can't stop Fournette. We can't stop that rushing game, because again, we know Tom Brady's going to Tom Brady. He's going to ball out. Like, he's going to always throw for almost 400 yards. He's going to throw 2 to 4 touchdowns a game. Like, that's just typical.
Yeah.
And so the way to beat him is to pick him off when you need to, which they did. Which is make sure, get him off the field, right? And that's exactly what they did, and that's how they beat him. And that's how he got beaten the 2 times that he lost the Super Bowl. The 2 times he lost is because the defense figured out this is what we got to do to shut him down, right? And so, and so as long as you know how to do that. They
have good run defense, right.
So we'll see what happens, but that's why I thought that was a good game, was because it was and honestly, the Saints, with what's going on, which they're everybody's getting injured, and maybe now that they got Ingram back and stuff, that kind of injected some
that'll help.
You know what I'm saying? Like some help. Ingram and Kamara are back together again.
Yeah, that could.
That could boost some morale, and they're saying that So we'll see how it goes. But hey, kudos to the Saints. No hate on that. Like, seriously, good job.
Oh,
nice.
They beat the trophy thrower.
So, next, we will move on to our picks for player of the week. And Nick, since he's playing right now, I'm going to come right to you. Mike White, man, what is he doing now? What is he doing? What's going on?
Right. Well, as I mentioned before, player of the week, because, man, when you come in as a rook, and the pressure's on. Yeah, good. Like I said, overcame a couple of early interceptions to go 37 to 45 for 405, 3 touchdowns, caught a 2-point conversion. Maybe the next time they'll let him kick the extra point. Who knows? But he currently does have a touchdown pass in this game.
He does.
The continuation of Mike White to Moore. They got it's
19 yards
tie right now.
Elijah Moore. Wow, nice.
Yeah, Elijah Moore. Yeah, so it's 7-7 tie right now. Yep. Now, again, I'm not trying to scare anybody who might be watching the game live, but the doctor was checking out his right hand real quickly on the sidelines. They showed him sitting on the bench, just kind of flexing his fingers and making sure he was okay. So hopefully that's not a serious injury, and they're about to get the ball back on a punt. So we'll see if he trots back out there, Mr. White, for this next 3rd possession of the game for the Jets. But yeah, obviously everybody knows who Mike White is now. You know the name.
My guy.
They even took his football to the Hall of Fame. Because think about this. He's the first guy since 1950 when they were like keeping these kinds of stats and sort of things. He's the only guy since Cam Newton to throw for that much in his first game.
I saw that.
Yards. So this guy's in very rare company in that sense. So, yeah, we'll see if Mike White can keep it up while he's in there, depending on when Zach Wilson gets back. That's the thing. Like,
will Zach Wilson even have a job?
Well, Zach Wilson didn't necessarily do anything to lose his job.
I know.
But we'll have to see how it goes, right? Like, it's like you gave the guy the team because he was the secretary of the draft, and then this Mike White guy from Western Kentucky came out of nowhere and it's like, hey, I got something. Watch this.
I love it. I love it.
All right, we'll see how it goes. But
hey, you got to fight for your job. Oh, I love that. Magic Mike White Lightning.
White Lightning. So,
that's good.
Again, my player of the week was Mike White, and we'll see. We'll see if he keeps.
No, I know he's not going anywhere, but it's funny, right?
It is funny, right? I mean, hey, these are things that happen in the NFL sometimes. I mean, you don't mean
it's a competition.
Them to, but sometimes just happy accident, right? Like things just happen, my friend. I don't know. We
honestly like
to be continued in New York. Was it and good
kudos
place
to the
for,
Jets, right?
Right. Like of all the teams, there's always drama with the Jets. It's usually bad. This could actually be a good drama for them.
Right.
What to do with quarterback? They never have had a quarterback in years. Now they may have 2.
They got 2, right?
Right. Let's go Jets. Right. Go Jets.
Right.
Nice.
We know it's the Jets, but I mean. What are the odds, right?
Yeah,
exactly. Right. That's we know. But what are the odds that Zach Wilson sits out? Right. The kid was doing pretty good. Yeah. I know. But like, who would have thought, right? Like, I don't know. I just feel like it's pretty. I would be in a pretty decent mood at least, versus always being embarrassed.
In New York, it's mostly a Giants town, because the Giants usually win more than the Jets do. But hey, when
Exactly.
the Jets are winning, all of a sudden it becomes a Jets town, right? You know, like
Right.
other people in New York get excited about the Jets again. So yeah, so there's something to be excited about. Here you go. Oh wait, Carson Wentz is back on the field. What happened?
Hey, as I shared before on the group chat, he earned this dude on a long shot bet $125,000.
Wow.
Yeah, I did see that. That's crazy. Isn't
Like,
it?
right? Because we know that was a long shot bet. You know, he had a
I think
couple
it
of
was Mike White's
stacks.
cousin or something, right?
You know, he had a couple of stacks, which
Are you gonna
means
start this week, cuz? Sure.
yeah.
Why not? Bet
He
on me.
also that means he probably had to have an alibi for his wife if he would have lost that money, but he didn't. Right? He didn't. Instead, he came home with over $100,000.
It's crazy.
Where'd you get all that money, honey? Mike White. Okay.
Right.
Who's that? Never mind.
Never mind.
Mike White.
Exactly.
Good pick, Nick. Good pick.
Yeah, Delilah, who did you have?
So
Who did you have, Delilah?
my pick was also Mike White, but he was taken. That's cool though. You know, but I'm gonna go with Michael Pittman. I know his team lost against the team we just talked about, but I feel like honestly on that Colts team, he's been very consistent. This season, he's had 45 receptions. He's tied for 11th in that. He has 94 yards. He made the top 10. So right now he's ninth. He's ninth for receiving with 594 yards. He has 4 touchdowns right now. Mm-hmm. And so for the Colts, they're sitting pretty good with Pittman because he's actually in there doing his job, right? And last week, even he didn't have, a lot of yards, but he did get 2 touchdowns, right? So even though he had 86 yards, the 86 yards he had ended up with 2 touchdowns that game. And so as I said, I feel like if he wasn't playing that game, I think Tennessee would have blown out the Colts. Like, I don't think anyone would have gone into overtime, because if you go and look at, Tannehill had 3 receivers on his side that actually helped him out, right? AJ Brown had a reception. You had Swaim had a reception, right? So a few different guys over on the Tennessee side, and then you have Pittman over here being consistent every single game. And as I said, he's 9th in receptions this season so far. So again, and this game he's getting some receptions. He might get a touchdown this game. We'll see. But right now, I feel like if I'm the Colts, at least you have a consistent wide receiver.
Yeah.
You should go with Pat who? I can't see that.
You should go with Pat who? With Farmer? What are you talking about?
No, Pat Farmer, yeah.
Who is
Anyway.
that? What's the Steelers for? That's Sydney?
Okay. Tight end for Pittsburgh.
Tight end for Pittsburgh, yeah.
From Penn State.
But no, so that's why I went with Pittman Jr. again. I feel like that game, he did his job, he went and helped out, Wentz not look as embarrassing. But this game Wentz has a touchdown. But I don't know, I'm kind of with Sean where he sometimes you can't really.
Oh, it is Sydney. Okay.
Is that for some reason Ash figured out how to. Ash figured out how to put her name into the comments, but you come up as Facebook user. So we're but we base it based on your comments that it's you, Sydney.
Right, it's you, Sydney. We know.
But anyway, yeah, so my player of the week, Michael Pittman. Keep doing your thing. You're out there, doing your job for the Colts, and hopefully you keep growing because again, number 9 isn't too bad. I'm smarter than him. I love y'all as a couple.
Oh, yes.
You are great. But I'm the same. I get it. Anyway, but yeah, so Michael Pittman, I hope you get a touchdown this game. We'll see. Keep it going. You're on a roll so far. You're in very good company this season with your stats and, continue to grow. He's also, he went to USC.
Oh, nice.
USC.
Yeah, I like that.
He's a Trojan.
Yeah, no, I ended up picking Elijah Mitchell, running back from San Francisco.
Yes.
And he's definitely moved into that main role. All except one game, he's had double-digit carries. In the last 2 weeks, he's had 18 carries. And the last 2 weeks, he's also had He's at 18 carries, over 100 yards, and a touchdown in the last 2 games. One in a loss, and then one, unfortunately, sorry guys, but the victory over the Bears.
Yes, of course.
He's been pretty consistent. You know, they might not know who they have at quarterback, but Mitchell has been carrying the load all year long. 3 games with over 100 yards. But like I said, multiple carries and over 17 or more carries in at least 4 out of the 5 games. So this guy's playing pretty tough. Got 433 yards for the year and 3 rushing touchdowns. He doesn't jump off the page at you. But if you're a fantasy guy, and you need your running back with all the injuries to Henry, even on this team, Raheem Mostert, this guy is consistent. That's all it is. He's a consistent car. The car might be beat up, might not be pretty, but it runs every time. He's consistent. He gets the job done. So I wanted to shout him out. He's a guy. He's a guy, Sean.
He's a guy, Sean.
Hey, he deserves it. He deserves a shout out.
And I'm sure he's happy that he is.
Yeah. So definitely
Taylor just scored 14-7.
There you go. Well, there you go. John Taylor's a monster. Yeah. So, yeah, but this guy, I think, with everything that's going on with the injuries and the kind of subpar play in San Francisco, I think Elijah Mitchell is definitely a positive piece to that puzzle. And, we don't know with injuries and with everything happening, like if Mostert comes back, if he would get kicked out of his position. But at the moment, Elijah Mitchell's making the most of his opportunity. So shout out to him, ladies and gentlemen. That was our players of the week, ladies and gentlemen. I love the Pat Firemuth reference by our guy Sydney Swin. Appreciate you and Ash watching the show. Yeah, buddy.
Tongue tied there.
Yeah, I've been saying his name all week, man. Pat Firemuth. Say his name all week. Love it. Love it. All right, let's go ahead and move on and to hot topics. And if you're a part of our group chat, there's a lot of hot topics. But the one we'll choose today, is the Henry Ruggs incident. Recently he actually got an accident. He's going 156 miles an hour. Yes. Intoxicated, got an accident which resulted in the death of the passenger on board, and I'll fix what it says there. Delilah, I'm gonna come to you first. What do you even say to this?
So a couple of things. I feel like just don't drink and drive. Honestly, I know that sounds like a sermon and stuff, but here's the thing. I understand, back in the day, even though it still wasn't okay, it would take 30 minutes to call a flash cab, right? Because I remember that. That's how old I am. Yeah, I had to call a cab. You had to wait, and it took forever. And then you'd call back and fight with dispatch, where's my driver?
Those were the days.
Anyway, but now you have Uber, and now you have Lyft. And now there's and also if you're an athlete, typically you're wealthy enough to actually have your own driver or someone come and pick you up. It's unnecessary anymore to get beyond. And it wasn't even he wasn't even 0.08, right? He was twice. So he was twice the legal intoxication. Okay, so he was floating out in the stratosphere, which means he never should have been even given a keys to his car. And it's just, I feel like, again, it's 2021 and there's just no more excuses about getting that messed up, so blotto, and then get behind a car with someone in your in your passenger seat, especially because it's one thing, and I'm not saying it's okay, because it's one thing if you crash and kind of kill yourself for being reckless, but now you have someone else with you, and that person just lost a loved one that they probably trusted you with. They trusted you to take care of this person, and now this person isn't here anymore, and it's just And now your career's over, because forget that. Like, not only will he most likely will go to jail, but that's it. Like, it's no, like that's that's his NFL career ended. Like, because I can't see a way for anyone to come back from here or from this, and yeah, there are so many options. Exactly. Thank you, Sydney. There's just no reason anymore to get that intoxicated and get behind the wheel of a car, especially when you have someone else with you that you have to be responsible for. And he was driving over 156 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how terrified she was in her last seconds, because that's what I'm thinking of right now. Okay, and I know that there's people who are empathetic to him and some that aren't. And I'm not saying you shouldn't have empathy. I'm never going to tell people how to feel about the situation, because it's tragic all around. But I am thinking about her loved ones and how she won't be coming home now, and how and that wasn't something that obviously anyone was anticipating, right? No one's ever wants that phone call in the middle of the night. And so my heart goes out to, her family. I'm so, my heart is with you. And a lot of people are praying for y'all right now. And I'm sorry that this tragedy happened. And it's hard to give people consolation. I know, because it's hard to talk to somebody when they lose someone like this violently. But again, my prayers are with, her family, and no, it's very tragic. And again, just don't do it, man. Just don't take the risk. Don't get behind the wheel of a car anymore. It's just, there's no reason to do it anymore. There's so many options now. There's just no excuse, basically, is what I'm saying, to drink and drive, even though there probably wasn't in the past, but there definitely aren't anymore.
I agree. Nick, what do you think?
Well, I mean, of course, it's a terrible tragedy anytime anyone loses their life, especially in a manner like this. I mean, obviously, this is going to be with Henry for the rest of his life. Okay, because no matter what you say, or no matter what anyone says, this will follow him for the rest of his life. Okay, obviously we know that football is probably done for Henry. I think that's pretty safe to say.
Yep.
And again, and please understand when I say this, I get everyone's point. It shouldn't have happened. Yes, this could have absolutely been avoided. And for some, this is one of those things in life where I ask myself, God, why do these things happen? Why do these unspeakable tragedies happen? Because yes, that young lady in the car lost her life, and that is very tragic. And yes, everybody's actions have consequences. That's in anybody's life, whether you're a millionaire or not, whatever. You do something like that happens, there's consequences to that. So I'm not saying there shouldn't be, but I'm telling you, it's very sad to also see a man who's only 22, 23 years old have his entire life ruined by something like this for making a poor decision. And that's what he did. Again, I know, the name calling aside, I'm not about that. Like the guy, he made a mistake. It was a costly one, and he made one, but he made a mistake. He was probably being flashy. He got hit his fast car. He's doing 156 in Vegas, probably going down the strip, blah, 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 whatever. He's showing off a little bit. I get it. Okay. Young people do that. Even old people my age do stupid stuff like that. Like,
don't I know it?
Right. Exactly. So, I mean, I'm not trying to, again, I don't want to make it seem like I'm downplaying what happened, because I'm not. But the fact of the matter is, think about for a minute if that was you at 23 years old and the rest of your life was pretty much ruined because of a mistake that you made that not even cost somebody else their life, but now for the rest of your life, that has to follow you. And that's going to cost you, because now you're done But the one thing you probably love doing more than anything is playing football, and that's now taken away from you. Not only do you at 23 have to figure out how you're going to rebound from this after all the court and civil cases I'm sure that are going to happen from an accident like this where someone loses their life, then you got to figure out how you're going to go on with your life and do something. And that's the thing too, finding a way to somehow, again, you're never going to make this tragedy better. That woman lost her life. But if Henry can find a way after this, after all this stuff gets done and finished, and he looks at it and reflects on what happened, that he'll be able to at least use the rest of his life to maybe do something positive and work with people, work with drunk driving, whatever, just to avoid something like this from happening again. I mean, it's a terrible tragedy. You definitely feel for that woman and her family. Like, you lose somebody senselessly like that. It's terrible.
Yeah.
And again, I would pray for Henry too, though. If you're going to pray for the victim, pray for Henry too, because again, this poor young man is going to have to live with this now for the rest of his life. And he's, like I said, he's only 22, 23. And again, maybe not to this extent, but we've all, messed up in our lives and have had to atone for stuff that we've done when we were younger. And I feel a little bad for the kid. Obviously, I feel worse for the family of that young lady, but yeah, it's a tragedy and it's just senseless and it shouldn't have happened. Like you said, there are many ways for, these young, these guys have a little bit of money. They have ways to get around. They can get drivers. They can do stuff like that.
Exactly.
But again, I don't know the situation. I don't know why he was out there drinking in his sports car, whatever he was driving, doing 156 miles an hour, that's anybody's guess why he was doing that. But again, just a tragedy. And that's about all I got to say on that.
I agree with you guys, man. I think you guys hit the nail on the head. And to move from that situation to I don't know. This is mixed. Is mixed because I love this guy. But I think when you cover this guy, it's a bigger story than just the player. So I'm going to move on to the longest running segment on Let's Talk Football Roundtable, Diversity with Delilah, and covering Junior Seau, one of the greatest linebackers of his time that unfortunately left us too early.
That's for sure.
Mental health,
suicide.
So Delilah, what you got?
All right, so man, I guess we gotta end up on end this show on a light note today, I guess. But that's life, right? We know that, right? We know life is beautiful and tragic, right? We know that, and unfortunately, where there's light, there's dark, and that's just yin and yang, right? It's just how it is. So Junior Seau, mostly known for his time on the Chargers, although also his time on the Patriots. He did play in a few other teams, but those are the two teams that kind of he stands out for. So Junior Seau was born and raised in Oceanside, California, to American Samoan parents. So his parents are from American Samoa. His great grandfather was a village chief of their town. And when they came to to mainland USA, typical to a lot of migrants, they didn't have a lot of money and they were working like really, kind of difficult jobs, just to put food on the table, living out of their cars and stuff like that. And so, so he came from a more like, I don't know, he didn't come from privilege is what I'm trying to say. And so they went back to American Samoa because they were, living out of their cars and stuff. And so they went back home when he was about a few years old. So when he came back to mainland United States, he didn't know a lot of English. And so kind of he had to pick up the language while he was here, but he picked it up pretty quick. He attended Oceanside High School, where he lettered in football, basketball, and track and field. So he was, a multi-talented athlete when he was in high school. As a football player, Seau was a starter at linebacker, so that was kind of his thing. Although he also played tight end, but that was, his bread and butter, as we know, was being a linebacker. He was named the Avocado League Offensive MVP in his senior year and led the 18-member Oceanside Pirates team to the San Diego 2A championship. And he made All-American his high school senior year as well.
Wow.
So again, he excelled athletically since he was in high school. He even did really well as a basketball player as well. Went to became San Diego Section Player of the Year. But he decided to, so he could have, gone to college to play NBA if he wanted to. But as what we've seen that happen before, where you have to choose between football and basketball, and oftentimes I've seen the football be chosen over the NBA over college basketball. Anyway, so he went to the University of Southern California. He had to sit out his freshman year because even though he excelled academically in high school, because he also made the All-American academic team that year with a 3.6, he didn't do too great in his SATs, which I'm not going to say, I'm assuming it's because it was a second language. I know that as an educator. So as a teacher, I know that a lot of students are really bright that don't know English as their first language. The reason for a lot of the times their low test scores is because of a language barrier, not necessarily because of their mental acuity. Anyway, so he had to sit out because, he had to make the cut. And so he didn't get to play until his sophomore year. And so that's kind of what happened with him. He actually said in a Sports Illustrated article later on, I was labeled a dumb jock. I went from being a four-sport star to an ordinary student at USC, and that's when I found out who my true friends are. Nobody stuck up for me. And ain't that the truth? We always know that, right? You're so popular. So everybody wants to be around you. And you have one struggle. And all of a sudden, all those people, right, that used to hang out on your every word, they just, they scatter. Well, yeah. And so he said that's when he found out who his true friends were. And we've all been there. We found out the hard way oftentimes ourselves who our true friends are. Right?
Preach.
So unfortunately, he found that out, while he was in college. But anyway, so finally, when he was able to play, he came playing hard. His 1988 and 1989 seasons, he collected 107 tackles, and so he came to play. He came to prove that he could do it.
That's for sure.
Yeah. So his 89 season was his best one. Was the best in the USC's defense, and also in that college at that point too. USC,
what? Oh, wow.
Yeah, his 89 season was one of the best in USC's distinguished defensive history.
Distinguished history, right?
Yeah.
Distinguished.
No, they always like to throw that in there. As he totaled 19 sacks and 27 tackles for losses en route to All-American honors. He was named the 1989 Pac-10 Defensive Player of the Year. So even though he had to sit out, man, I love that this kid at that time said, okay, fine, because I'm going to come prove myself, because you have to on the field. Yeah. Especially when you're
the great equalizer.
Especially when you're a man of color, you have to go twice as hard to prove that you deserve to be there. Add a second language, the odds get stacked forever against you. The more you know how it is, right? And so but he went out there, he proved himself. It wasn't just about number. During his 2-year career with the Trojans, again, he amassed a 19-4-1 record and won 2 Pac-10 titles and played in back-to-back Rose Bowls.
Right.
So he went in and did his thing. So in the first round of the 1990 NFL draft, he was selected by the San Diego Chargers as the 5th overall draft selection. Seau became one of the most popular players on the Chargers, receiving the nickname Tasmanian Devil.
Yeah, I remember that.
Nice.
So again, he started, Seau started 15 of 16 games he played during his rookie season and was named an alternate to the 1991 Pro Bowl after recording 85 tackles. So again, the kid came to play. In 1991, he picked up 129 tackles and 7 sacks, and then was named to the actual 1992 Pro Bowl, not as an alternate. It was the first of the 12 consecutive Pro Bowls he went to. Also in 91, he was awarded the George S. Hallis Trophy as the NFL's top defensive player. AFC Defensive Player of the Year as well as the NFL Alumni Linebacker of the Year.
There you go.
So he just went on to, his first, his 91 season, just went in and started collecting all these different, all these different trophies. And that was only his second year, in the NFL. In 94, he had a career high with 155 tackles.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a monster. I mean, there's no doubt.
Again, named NFL Defensive Player of the Year again. Recorded 16 tackles in the 1994 AFC Championship game while playing with a pinched nerve. So he went in, and that was in a 17-13 victory over the Pittsburgh Steelers, which took them to the Super Bowl, which unfortunately we know they lost to the 49ers.
Badly.
Yeah, because that was
the 55-10 game, right?
Yeah, that was that decade we know belonged to the 49ers. They came to the Super Bowl. So no fault on him, but basically 2 teams kept winning the Super Bowls during the 90s.
Nobody cares.
Okay, anyway, so Seau was traded to the Dolphins, so that's kind of where he went. But that's, he went to the Dolphins, and he had an okay kind of season, time there too. Basically he just kept getting hurt, so even though he went and kind of did his thing there too, he tore his pectoral muscle. And but even though he tore his pectoral muscle, he still has 68 tackles and a sack. He started 5 of the first 7 games he played with the Dolphins in 2005, but again, he just kind of, he had an Achilles tendon injury. And so that's kind of when his injury started stacking up against him, but people still saw value, and he went to the New England Patriots after retiring, because he briefly retired. Mm-hmm. And then Seau returned to football 4 days later after retiring in 2006 to sign with the Patriots. He started 10 of the first 11 games for the Patriots, recording 69 tackles before breaking his right arm while making a tackle in a game against the Chicago Bears.
There you go.
And then he was placed on another injury reserve, but they re-signed him in 2007 because of the numbers he put up in 2006.
Oh, yeah.
And that's when the Patriots made their Super Bowl appearance. That 2007 season, which was one of the best, their undefeated regular season. So he was part of that team. So basically, he was part of that undefeated team. So basically, that's kind of his story with the Patriots. Yeah. He announced his retirement in 2010, and then as Nick alluded to, in 2012, unfortunately, he took his life. They do what they do to football players all the time, and they studied his brain, and they found out that he has severe CTE. Which they've said alters a person's personality, driving them to Great Depression. Yeah. And so he was only 43. So to put that into perspective, a lot of us and a lot of people we know are only in their 40s. So 43 is still hella young. Yeah. But anyway, the reason I say this is because his accomplishments should always be remembered, but we're fans and we love these players, but we also have to remember that they're human beings. Mm-hmm. And they put their body and lives on the line to go out there every Thursday, Sunday, and Monday. Right. And they put their body and everything on the line for us to do what they love, but also to entertain us. And the reason I bring this up is I know players get injured and they were like, oh, come back and play. No, if your body's not ready, your body's not ready. Right. Look at this guy. He broke his arm. He literally finished his career beat up and probably came coming back because he felt like he had to prove himself. Hurt his brain, which I know we get upset with all these concussion protocols, but there's a reason for it, right? Yeah, exactly. Like, it's just unfortunate. And then the mental health thing too is important because we know that Ridley is taking this time to take care of his mental health. And so what I'm trying to say is, as much as we love our players, let's give them their time to heal, both mentally and physically, because they're both connected. Right? They're both connected. If you're not physically ready, that's going to hurt you mentally. And if you're not mentally ready, that's going to hurt you physically. And you're not going to be able to perform on the field. So, so when a guy comes out and says, hey, you know what, I have to sit the season out. And I know everybody's like, he's my team, I love him, whatever. Like, it's better he sits out now because he wouldn't have been able to perform on the field anyway because his head wouldn't be there. So he still wouldn't have been able. And then you know what would have happened? People would have thumped on him, and that would have exacerbated his mental health problem. Right? Because he knew if he went out there, he wasn't going to play well. He wasn't going to do well. He was going to let his team down. He was going to let his coaches down. He was going to let his fans down. And what would all his fans start typing? Let's be honest, right? They'll start blasting him out. And they already are. I've already seen multiple comments of people laughing at this guy. And honestly, we need to stop laughing at athletes who actually admit that, hey, I need to take time to take care of me. And then athletes who are getting hurt physically. Honestly, even when they get medical clearance, we know what that means. We know that what they're saying is you're not broken enough, so you can still play. But it doesn't mean that their body's ready. And we see that when players come back and they get hurt again, or they're not playing as well. Yeah, I agree. I think it's ridiculous too, Nathan. And so, but I also don't want us to take away Seau's accomplishments. And I think that we also need to remember him in that way and what a stellar athlete he was. But also to use him as an example. Like, let your teams, their players, regardless of how you feel personally, let them hear physically and mentally so that they're ready to come back when they're ready.
Right.
So that's my EWD.
Nice. Yo, thank you so much for that. He gets ridiculous, honestly. I completely agree. Gone too soon. Junior Seau, ladies and gentlemen. And moving right along, Nick's
pick.
Weekend, man. How was your weekend, man? We're moving to Nick's picks. Want to see how his weekend went, man. How did it go, Nick?
No, the weekend.
Hope he did better in Washington, because you did.
My weekend did not go very well this weekend, my friend. We went 1-3, boys and girls.
Thank you, Nate.
1-3. So we're back to 500, back to 16-16. So here we go. We got 4 more games for you this week. Because I never give up. I tell you. Get 1-3, you bounce back the next week. So here we go. Slate of 4 games for this week. Now the first one, this is probably where I get myself into trouble because I look at these games and I go, I think something could happen here. As you mentioned, Sean, you told me before we went on this broadcast that a Mr. Tyrod Taylor would be returning to Houston this week.
He's going to start.
They have a matchup, a very intriguing one with Miami this weekend. Now, as you know, let me tell you something, brother. You're going to find out real quick. Anywho.
Nothing is nothing.
That's right. I'm going to go ahead and take it. Here we go. This is where I should have my head. I'm really tired this week. So these picks may come back to haunt me, but we'll have to look at this footage later and laugh. Houston is the underdog, of course, for the Miami Dolphins.
Barely.
Houston is, but Houston is getting 5.5 points on the Dolphins.
Wow.
And long story short, I'm taking Houston with the 5.5 points. You can get Janae set up, call me crazy. I don't care. I'm going to take Houston this week with Tyrod Taylor.
You can ask Bobby how he feels about that
5.5 points. So that's the game 1 for this week. All right, my boys and girls. Houston plus 5.5 over Miami. Game number 2. We were just talking about famous Jameis, right? And poor Jameis got hurt. Now, New Orleans is 5-2. What are they going to do? We need a quarterback. We got Trevor Siemian, I guess. Taysom Hill, I think, is still nursing some injury. So I get this. This is kind of one of those things where it's like they're playing Atlanta. Okay. Now, we all know how the Falcons, have looked this year. 1 week they look like killers. The next week they look like me, you, and Delilah could take them in a scrimmage game. So this is one of those things where
absolutely
I'm looking slowly at them. Okay. Basically, I just got to get through these. I'm so sorry, folks. Atlanta, I'm trying to come up with something clever to say, and it just isn't coming. So Atlanta is getting 6.5 points. New Orleans is favored by 6.5 points in this game, but I'm going to go the opposite way with the Jameis Winston-less Saints, and I'm going to take Atlanta plus the 6.5 points.
Wow.
So there we go. That's my pick number 2 for those of you paying attention. My next game on the docket is another intriguing matchup, of course, but this is the return, and I think you'll like this, Mr. Nathan, the return of your Baltimore Ravens to the football field, taking on the Minnesota Vikings. Kirk Cousins. Whatever. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
For those who watch the show regularly, you'll get what that is. But anyways, and Cat Hughes now hates me. It's okay.
Yeah, they're 0-8, so it's not like
But anyways, Minnesota in Baltimore play this week. Now, as we all know, that means Lamar Jackson shall return to the field and be triumphant this weekend because, well, he's Lamar Jackson.
Well,
and Minnesota has Kirk Cousins.
Kirk.
So I'm going to take Baltimore. Baltimore is giving up 6 points in this game. All right, so I'm going to take Baltimore and that minus 6 points that they will beat Minnesota by more than 6 points.
Ooh.
So take Baltimore and minus 6.
Nice.
All right. That's a home game for Baltimore, so just for the record. And game numero 4. As we all know, the Chargers were on the receiving end of a surprising loss last week.
Yep.
To the New England Patriots. Go Mac Jones. Anyway, look for the Chargers to bounce back this week. They have a game with the Philadelphia Eagles. And again,
bounce back.
Philly. Right. Philly, again, I know I took them, Detroit to beat them last week. That was one of my losses. But again, Philly came out ahead. No problem. No big deal. The Los Angeles Chargers are going to be hot. They're going to want to come back. And after that Patriot loss, I could see them bouncing back easily against Philadelphia. The Chargers are giving up only 2 points. I think they can beat Philadelphia by more than that.
Oh, yeah.
So I will take the Chargers minus
easily
2 points. But again, Philadelphia coming off the win, Chargers coming off the loss. I don't know if Vegas knows something I don't. But anyway, I'm going to take the Chargers minus 2 for my 4th game of the week. Okay, boys and girls? So just to recap really quickly, we went with the plus 5, 5.5 for Houston over Miami. We're going to take the plus 6.5 for Atlanta against New Orleans. We're going to take the minus 6 in Baltimore against Minnesota and the minus 2 in the Chargers against Philadelphia.
Nice.
Those are my picks for this week. We're 16-16, boys and girls.
Let's go.
Next week, who the hell knows what we'll be. But anyway, these are my picks, not anybody else's. I've had a long week. I'm tired. And Carson's pointing at me. No, I'm kidding.
They're your picks.
Right, those are your picks. But yeah, they're mine. If you don't agree, that's fine. You're looking at a guy who's sleep deprived and has worked a lot of hours this week. So leave me alone.
There we go.
Love you guys. Those are Nick's picks.
Yeah.
Hopefully we do better for you this week than I did last week, folks.
Hardworking guy. Hardworking guy.
That's debatable. But
let's go. Absolutely. All right. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for y'all that are still with us.
Yeah, you're still
this
hanging with us.
Point.
It's been one of those hours, I tell you.
moving on to the very last segment. One last word. Yeah, buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, we're at our last segment. One last word. Ladies and gentlemen. Nick, I'll come right back to you, man. What you got?
Come on back to me. Okay.
Wait, Nick, I have to put this in here. Just a reminder that Baltimore Elite defeated Nick Knights Rosario.
Oh, he wants to talk smack.
He's going there. He's going there.
That's a reminder for you, isn't there, smart guy? You know why I lost? Because Patrick Mahomes forgot Travis Kelce played on his team.
Very true. Very true. Very true.
The whole game going, you gonna throw to Kelce? Like, you're gonna involve the tight end in this game? What are you doing? Like, what's that? I need some fantasy points. Like, what's up?
Ridiculousness.
And you guys didn't even like Kelce wasn't even in the game.
No.
Like, what is that?
Awful.
See, I think Pat's distracted. Little Patty Mahomes is,
Now this guy thinks he's gonna make the playoffs guaranteed. Wow.
Okay, take it easy there, Rick James.
Wow.
Calm down, right? Celebration, right? Yeah, I love you too, buddy. But you better calm down. Would you have an extra bowl of Fruit Loops or something this morning? You're all hyped up, like what's going on?
Good gracious.
He's all right, he's got his sugar in him. He's
hour.
all right.
Yep.
He's all like, yeah, I'm gonna guarantee. Where's your Charles Barkley RuPaul looking thing that you put up there, right? I guarantee.
Wow.
Guys, this is the stuff that happens in the group chat.
I told you.
A lot of weird stuff.
Right, and this stuff happens behind the scenes, and people coming, making comments and all that. Okay, by the way, just for the record, right, like Sean said, we're on one last word. I love you guys, but my word this week is tired. You know what I'm telling you? Tired. No, I did again. We all, we do this for fun. We love what we do here, guys. We absolutely do. Me, Sean, and Delilah have talked off camera, on camera. Like, we enjoy doing this stuff. We love coming to you guys every week. And of course, again, we do have our regular lives. Delilah's a teacher. Sean takes care of different people and health situations. And well, I run an adult store. That's what I do. So, but I had inventory this week, so it made for a longer week for me to try to get everything done in the store. So, it just was I'm slap happy. I know I'm trying to come up with all kinds of crazy stuff, but the fact of the matter is, I'm just tired this week. I love you guys. It's been a great show. I'm tired. Tomorrow it's Friday, so at least the weekend is upon us. We'll have another week to ponder life and enjoy the weekend. Delilah and I get 60s here in Chicago, so that's going to be glorious, and it's going to be great. And our Bears don't play till Monday night, so we can enjoy the whole weekend without being upset about anything. We can just enjoy the weather. We don't have to be mad at Sunday at 4:00 when the game's over. Like, we're good. We can enjoy the entire weekend before worrying about Monday night and the Steelers. So there we go, folks. Oh, just for the record, in case you were wondering, just because I know people, as I told you, I don't bet on the Bears myself, but I believe the line is at 6 points for the Steelers. So for those of you who think the Bears may pull one off, this might be a good chance for you this week. Steelers -6, I believe, is the current line for that game. So just a little tidbit of information on my last word to you as I bid you adieu on this fine Thursday evening.
Nice. Delilah, what you got?
We love you, Nick.
Thank you. I love you.
So my last word are just a few words actually on my shirt. Teach, love, inspire. So basically, I feel like anybody could do it. It doesn't have to be an educator. Like, I think that those are just 3 kind of good words to have in your vocabulary in general. Like, I feel like everyone has something to teach and tell someone, express some wisdom. Love. Oh, God. Woo, we need to spread some love, y'all. We need to spread some love, y'all. Like, there is just... We really need some love out there.
Bring it in.
We really do.
I got you right here. Big Nick, big shoulders. Bring that in. I don't know how. I don't know. Again, if I'm dating myself, I don't know who watches the show. I feel like we're all about the same age, but we came from like the Care Bears, and they spread love. I'm just saying, like, you think about that. You think about a more like lovely show that they beat back darkness with love. Radiate out of their stomach when the thing would come out and you see the light.
Like, seriously, like what a beautiful thing to teach children, right? Like,
oh, I agree with you.
And then and then inspire, right? Go out there, inspire someone in a positive way. There's just, again, like I've been saying, like what we discussed on this show, like there were a few dark topics, but we really need to spread some love and inspire folks to also keep spreading that love and inspire others in a positive way. We need to bring the balance back because I kind of feel like it's a little off kilter. So we need to kind of bring back that balance, that yin and yang. We need a little more lightness.
What
and
the
so,
world
and so that's what I'm trying to. Those are my last words. Like teach, love, inspire, and you don't have to be a teacher to do that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
What the world needs now
Just Nick serenades us.
love, sweet love. That's the only thing. That is just too little love. I couldn't resist when you said that. Definitely, Shannon, you gotta love what the world needs now, my friends.
Yeah. I piggyback on both the things you guys both said. One other thing I want to highlight: Saturday, Kat and I are going down to Southern Virginia to go to a wedding.
Okay.
One of her old teacher friends, Lindsay Toothacker, and her fiance, Nick. I can't think of his last name. And I said it.
Rosario.
No, that's the funny thing because I said, Kat. I'm trying to say something about Nick. What's his last name? She said Rosario. I said, wrong Nick, Kat. Wrong Nick.
Hey, she knows my name. No.
Let's go. So yeah, shout out to Nick and Lindsay. We're going to their wedding on Saturday.
Congratulations.
Yeah, definitely congratulations to them.
Spread some love there. There you go.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Weddings are nice.
We definitely love y'all, and hopefully we'll parlay that into a full weekend and go potentially see her Kat's parents. And,
there you go. Right.
Go with that. Go with that type of stuff. Anytime, Delilah, how, hey, weekends. Anytime you're not teaching, especially nowadays, you got to go do something because you got to, rest. Yes, but at the same time, because these kids is crazy this year. Oh my goodness!
She goes out with her younger sister. Like they go eat and stuff and drink. Yeah. Her younger sister.
I saw that.
Her younger sister. That's what I call her.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Hey, you know what? She won $100 in a Halloween costume contest.
There you go. Shout out to Miss Maria.
Yes,
Miss Maria, shout out to you. Congratulations. Definitely well deserved, no doubt. So, hey, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, glad you guys have been able to stay with us. Ash, Ash, Sid.
I'm still here.
Nathan, Dave, I know you commented a little bit. Wendy, everybody. Actually, no, Wendy hasn't been here today.
That's because Rogers is in charge.
She heard the Rogers.
No, it's Thursday. It's Thursday. She probably can't hop on. Remember, we alternated the days.
Sydney took care of the Rogers defending today.
There you go. There you go.
Reading the thread. Go read the thread between him and Delilah. It's fantastic.
There you go.
That's awesome.
There you go.
I love.
Almost got an accent reading that thread
in the morning. Right. I know. I'm at work trying to get inventory done. Reading these two talk to each other. I'm like, hey, here we go. Let's
go.
Let's go.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Hey, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, we're so glad that you were able to be with us today, and we're bringing some football. Bringing you some football. Hey, for myself, Mr. Sean Spencer, Mr. I Want to Smoke, Nicholas Rosario,
and my bed,
and Mr. I Don't Care. I just don't like the man.
That's right. Lila Crespo, ladies and gentlemen, just doesn't like the man.
Yes. And seeing as I haven't done it the entire show, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next week.
Oh, man. Oh, wow.